So one thing you want to do is you want to always assume that the handgun is loaded, never point it in the direction of any persons. Remove the magazine. So I'm going to push on the magazine release button, magazine right there, pull that aside, and as you can see, it's empty. And then the next thing I want to do is brass check. So I want to look in the chamber here and see if there's a round sitting in there. Now, one thing you can do is you can actually, there is a extractor right here, and that is what we call a passive safety check, meaning that if there was a round in the chamber, then this little extractor right here would be cattywampus. It's flat like this, but if there was a round, it would be out like this, okay? And you would be able to see it, and you would be able to feel that. So right now, this is flat. Again, that's not an exact check. You don't want to rely on that. Grab your serrations back here on the rear of the slide and just drive your right hand forward. And if there was a round in there, the round would be ejected. At the same time, do a visual check. Another way to check, you want to bring the slide back, and there is the rear catch button right here. And what that's going to do is you'll see there is a notch right there. And it's going to, this little latch right there is going to catch in that and hold the slide back. So you want to push up on this slide catch. So bring that up, is now in the rear position, and this is holding. If you want to bring it down, all you have to do is take your thumb and then pull down. One thing we want to do is we want to look inside and make sure that there is no round in the chamber. And then you just take your finger and put your finger in there, and there's no round. So the weapon is clear at this point. So I like to hold the slide. I don't like to let it jam forward and like that. So when you do that, you're actually engaging the trigger mechanism. So I pull the trigger, and now I can pull the slide. I just place it right up into the beaver tail right here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my fingers over on the slide right here. I'm going to use this area right here, this the webbing between your thumb and your fingers, and I'm just going to use this as a fulcrum, okay, this region with the beaver tail. And it's real, it makes it so simple just to bring that slide back, and you only have to bring it back like a 1/10 of an inch, and I mean it's not that far. So listen here. So you heard that click, right? The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the tab release or the slide lock catches right there, and there's one on the right side, there's one on the left side. Bring those down simultaneously, and they're kind of like on a spring, and then just slide the slide forward, and there you go. Now what we're going to do is we'll take the recoil assembly out, and all you have to do is just push forward on this little guy right here while it's in there. That just comes out real simple. And then just all you have to do is just pop the barrel. There's the barrel, and now we're ready to work with that slide. This is the Holosun, and that's going to be going on my Glock. These screws right here are specifically designed to go in the Holosun, and they're machined so that they fit this little area right here snug. If you were to try to use the screws that were sent with the mounting plate, which I got from C+H Precision Optics, what you will see is here you have this screw here. The neck on it is going to go a little bit deeper into the Holosun. Here you have, this is for the Holosun, and it's very, very important to use these because of this specifically engineered design that they have. This thing, right? That little flange. So the neck on this screw here, as you can see, is designed to go into that formed area, whereas this guy right here is not designed. This comes with the mounting plate that I got third party, and this is the Holosun, and be sure to use this, okay? From the head to the tail of the thread, it's 11.9 millimeters. This is the one that you want to use, but you have to file it down. There's 4 recoil posts right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 recoil posts, and here's 2 screw openings. So then you just take your adapter plate and pop your adapter plate right in there. And there's a little dovetail area like right there. Can't make a mistake with that. So, and the logo basically shows up towards you. So I got the plate on. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the sight and the optic here, and we're going to put that on. That looks pretty good. And so there's no daylight between the slide, the adapter plate, and the optic right there. That looks pretty good. So one thing you may want to do, always shake up your Loctite. So I'm ready to put the screws in with the Blue Loctite, and that's what we're going to do next. So I'm just going to pop that right down there. And we'll proceed doing that. There's 2 screws that go in here, and so you have one screw that goes on in this side and another screw that goes on here, and you just torque that down to 15 inch-pounds. I would snug both of the screws down first, and then after that I would go with 10 inch-pounds on both, and then after that then I would go with 15 inch-pounds. When I'm putting the Blue Loctite on the threads, I just put 1 drop in the middle, and then I go over here, put a drop in the middle, and I let that run off the threads. Then what I do is, just so I don't want to put a lot of Loctite on there so it drips down into the slide itself, okay? So what I do is I just take and just run a Q-tip over the top. And you see here I used a patch for the other side, so basically you just I have the Blue Loctite that originally came on the screw, and now have Blue Loctite that I just put on. Yeah, so I'm going to put both of the screws in, then I'm going to snug them down. Okay, I'm not going to torque them at this time. I'm just going to snug them down. Do this by hand. There's always a possibility that you can score these little star-shaped T10 heads right there. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I have a little T10 right here. It's a T10 bit. I'm going to put it in. This is a torque wrench. And then you can also use, this is a fix-it sticks, and this is a 15 inch-pound. It gets to 15 inch-pounds and then it'll slip. But this is specifically for 15 inch-pounds only, nothing else. And so, but I like to use the torque wrench. And with this torque wrench here, I'm going to set it for, I'm going to start out and set it at 10. And then this actually, this torque wrench goes from 10 inch-pounds to 50 inch-pounds. So I really don't have to change anything. I set it at 0. And then what I'm going to do is make sure that I'm straight up and down. And there's 10 on that side. And there's 10 on that side. Go back, double check this right side. There's 10. So currently that is at 10 inch-pounds. And before I do any further, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pistol back together. and we already cleared the pistol, so we're good to go. So what I want to do here is I want to make sure that there's no impingement of both these screws that we put in. To go too far down into the screw hole, what you're going to run into is on that right hand side there, that's your plunger for the extractor, and you're going to hit that. Okay, so that's one thing you have to be very careful about when you put your micro optic in. We're back to a nice horizontal surface here where we can safely increase the torque bit to, let's go 15. So again, that's 15 inch-pounds. And then I'm going to hold the slide, get in there, and then I'm going to make sure that I'm staying straight up and down. And then, okay, there's 15. And there's 15. Okay, go back to putting it back together again. I'm going to reassemble the Glock, okay? And then you just bring it back a little bit. And as you can see, when I did that, I loaded the trigger mechanism. I know that this weapon is actually, we've cleared it already. There's no rounds. I'm going to point it down, pull the trigger. And there you go.